No importa su destino, podemos ayudarle.
Gracias, Vuelos y Más.
¿Qué espera? Llame ya.
Have you ever had to hire multiple contractors? It is a daunting task that takes a lot of management time and impacts the core business or the company that time you're spent with your loved ones. At Texas Home Property Solutions, you can count on a responsible company that can tackle all your general contractor needs. Electricity, painting, remodeling, plumbing, air conditioning, and roofing. Hire us and forget it. With over 20 years of experience, Texas Home Property Solution will deliver your project on time and within budget, with the high level of quality and integrity, no matter the size or complexity. If you are a company, a government institution, or an individual who needs a general contractor, you need Texas Home Property Solution. Take a decisive step and call us today for a free consultation.
Welcome to Networking Now. I am Jen Potter, your host, and I am joined today with Ingrid Perez. She is an immigration lawyer from Florida, and I have her here today to talk about different things for international entrepreneurs. And I'm just going to jump right in, and I'm going to let you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are and who you serve.
Sure. Thank you so much, Jen, for having me. So my name is Ingrid Perez. I'm an immigration attorney. My office is located in Orlando, Florida, and I help people from all over the world, really, immigrate to the United States. And I deal with a wide array of visas, whether it's for, immigration through family or employment or through business. I also deal with non-immigrant visas, which, range from temporary work visas, visitors visas, things like that. And I love, doing what I do. I get to meet really amazing people, amazing entrepreneurs, just really see wonderful things that my clients are doing and, seeing how they contribute to the United States through their work and their businesses. So it's a really great profession. I really love what I do.
And I think it's so unique because there's all different types of law. And what made you get into immigration law?
Well, I'm an immigrant, and so for me, it's a very natural sort of, appeal. I like to help other immigrants, and I'm an entrepreneur myself. I have my own law firm, so I'm helping others do the same thing that I'm doing, right? Live the American dream. So to me, that's very appealing. And I speak 3 different languages. I speak English, Spanish, and Portuguese. So I have a wide array of potential clients that want services in their language preference. So for me, that's also beneficial. And also, I just really love helping people, right? I was a public defender before I transitioned to immigration law. I love helping people. I love sort of demystifying the world of immigration. Immigration can be really scary, really challenging. It's expensive, it's time consuming, it's uncertain. I always tell people that, when you're seeking immigration visa, you're seeking immigration benefit. It's not something that's guaranteed. So it's really important to do things right the first time around, because if you don't, you're going to have to be redoing your case. It's going to be more expensive, and it may actually, hurt you if you don't do it right. So I think that those are my motivations, just really helping people, offering really great services, maintaining my caliber of services and what I can do for immigrants all over the world.
Which is so amazing because I feel like you said, right, the American dream. Everybody deserves that opportunity. And the fact that you were able to do it and now you help other people, I think is really amazing because that's what we're made up here, right? Like it's literally all immigration. My family is from all different parts of the world. So I think it's really amazing. And so being that you're in immigration law and you have people that are trying to do what you did, how do you get your clients, if you don't mind me asking? Like, how do they know about your services and how to kind of follow that path? Because it is unique for someone who is immigrating over. How does someone find you in your specialty?
Yeah, it's I like to think that there's 8 billion people in the world, so I probably have I don't know how many billion people are in the United States, but I have a huge potential pool of clients. So for me, at least internally, I made the strategic decision to focus on some specific types of visas, right? And focus on specific cases that I personally like to do and that I'm good at. So I do a lot of family immigration and I do a lot of employment-based immigration. So I focus my marketing through those I guess client identities, you should call it. So I get a lot of referrals from existing clients, but I also do a lot of marketing outside of my firm, to promote my services. I find actually a lot of people on LinkedIn that reach out to me on social media through my website. People find me on Google. They'll just go to my website, ibplaw.com, and I'm right there and they contact me. But because we've been able to really reach quite a few people, I get a lot of referrals from clients who are satisfied. And that is always a wonderful sort of way to get new clients because they already are coming in knowing that you can do the job, that you can solve their problem. So, mostly through referrals. And I'm a small business. I'm growing my law firm. So unfortunately, sometimes I do have to refer cases out if I can't handle it. But we're growing. I actually just hired an attorney to work for me, and we have staff, and I'm actually in the process of hiring more people. So hopefully we'll be able to take on more cases and help more people.
And that's amazing, knowing that you've only been in business for, your own business for just a few years, but you're already taking that step and you're growing and you're hiring. So you know what you're doing is actually working. And I find that word of mouth is the best, when it comes to business, because a referral from someone who is like, this works, that you're going to continue to get business. And all of my businesses are only word of mouth. And at first I was really nervous about that. We do have to do networking and we do have to get out there. But with such a niche, sometimes even networking in local groups might actually be difficult. But, if you don't want me asking before we get into, the law part of it, because you did say that you network, do you find that traditional networking groups actually do help or no?
I think, it has changed over time. Before COVID, I was out in the community a lot talking to people and getting my name out there, and people would get to know me and they would, think of me when they needed an immigration service, right? After COVID or during COVID, I really had to adapt and really focus my efforts more to online marketing and online referrals. So I was able to, I learned how to leverage that a lot better, I think, right? And also realizing that your time is so valuable, and for the services that I offer, I don't necessarily always need to be in the community, although I do really enjoy being within the community. But like I said, my clients are all over the world, and, I get hired by people that are in Texas, California, different continents, and then they'll hire me without meeting me in person. And I think, establishing yourself as an authority figure in your industry, whatever that may be, having an online presence is really important because people are digital now. Everybody has an internet, everybody has internet for the most part. And they'll look for you and they want to build that rapport with you. And they do that, by maybe seeing your videos or reading your newsletter or visiting your website and learning more about you. I think that personal connection is so important for our businesses, especially when we're offering such personal services. And I think that COVID taught me that. I know it taught a lot of other entrepreneurs that as well, to sort of shift the way that we market and really establishing your personal brand, whatever that may be, is critical for any service or product that you're offering.
And I think that's really important. And I'm really happy that you touched upon all of those things, because it's it's one of those things where if I didn't know what you did prior to our interview, because I got to learn a little bit about you before, I would have never actually thought of that, the type of law that you do. I know that it exists, but I wasn't sure how that intertwined with entrepreneurship.
Oh yeah.
And it's really interesting to me, because I actually have a friend who could have used your services a few years ago. And and she actually may still could use those services, because she needed a visa. She actually had a business here, and it turned into like a debacle, and not many people could help her. And after learning about what you do, I just started thinking, right? I looked at the show notes and I was like, oh, I didn't even know that this was a thing. Like, when I looked at the question. So, I want to jump into that, because there are, from what I've recently learned, that there are specific visa categories for people with businesses. That
Mhm.
is amazing. I had no idea. As a person who owns several businesses, and I know plenty of, immigrants, this is amazing. So I'd love for you to talk a little bit about, what those categories look like, how they can help entrepreneurs, and I'll just let you just take it over.
Sure. So usually, what I like to start with is asking a potential client, what do you intend to do in the United States? Meaning, are you looking to live here forever, like permanently, or are you looking for a visa that may be temporary, that allows you to invest in the United States, operate your business here, allows you to work on your business, and you're comfortable renewing that visa, because there are immigrant and non-immigrant options, right? Immigrant options are going to lead to permanent residency. One day you can become a US citizen. Non-immigrant options are options that don't lead to permanent residency, right? These are options that you have to constantly be renewing. So I start with that. And it depending on what the person say, depending on what they say, then we start narrowing down our conversation. So for example, if a person comes to me, and I've had this situation actually recently, a person from a different countries here in the United States studying. They're studying a bachelor's degree, and they're actually a very successful business owner in their home country, and they want to explore options of living here in the United States. So we started talking about their business abroad. What do they do, and what can they do here in the United States? And I learned that this person has a huge operation in their home country, and they want to do the same thing here in the United States. So for that option, for example, or for that specific set of circumstances, we can talk about a visa called an EB-2 National Interest Waiver. The EB-2 National Interest Waiver is one of the several categories of immigrant visas that allows a person who doesn't have a job offer, like an entrepreneur, for example, to immigrate through employment. But they are self-sponsoring. They don't need a job offer. They don't need to go through an otherwise very lengthy and difficult process of having a job offer through a U.S. employer. So the national interest waiver waives that requirement, as long as you can show that the work that you're coming to do in the United States is in the national interest. And there's so many entrepreneurs doing work that's in the national interest, So for example, think about infrastructure, right? Infrastructure is very hot right now. If you're an entrepreneur and you're coming to the United States to work on, a specific niche within the infrastructure industry, like installing, I don't know, internet, or internet cables, or things like that, that could be a way for you to come to the United States through your business. I spoke to another young woman the other day who works in water. She installs these water processing systems for homes, buildings, universities. So these are all things that people can come to the United States and do through their own entrepreneurial endeavor.
Which is really amazing. And because we don't think about those things, right? We think of, the typical business, not something that is that niche.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think for the purposes of immigration, if you want to immigrate through an EB-2 NIW, for example, I always like to think about, what is the problem? What is the benefit that this person is bringing to the United States? What is the problem that they are going to solve? So, right now, infrastructure is really hot. Right now, mechanical engineers who offer services on their own, maybe through their own consultancy, right? You don't necessarily need to be a business owner who is going to create, this huge enterprise and create a lot of jobs. You may be a business owner if you have your own consultancy firm, right? And you share your expertise with stakeholders in your industry. And if your work is in the national interest, you may have a way to live permanently in the United States with a green card through this specific type of visa. So it's actually, a very interesting, and I love working these cases. They are difficult. You really have to tell the client's story on paper and explain how they're well positioned to do what they're saying they're going to do. Is there a need in the United States for their services or their product, right? And how will it benefit a greater strategic interests of the United States? And I love doing these cases, and when you get an approval, it just feels so rewarding.
That's so amazing. And thank you so much for that. We're going to cut to our first break. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about these visas and how people can reach out to you and be able to possibly obtain them.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the U.S. Med Diabetic Health Hotline today and learn about the latest CGM technology. Not only can a CGM immediately reduce pain, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you make better diabetes treatment decisions. And if you have Medicare or private insurance, you can see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. We'll also provide free shipping of your new CGM, and we'll bill your insurance company for you. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the U.S. Med Diabetic Health Hotline to see if you qualify for a CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Well, here's a great idea. Donate your car now to help local veterans in your area. Yes, just make one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program. Within a few days, we'll come and remove your car for free. You can donate any car in any condition. We'll use our vast network to sell it. The proceeds raised go to help local veterans and their families. And you get a tax deduction. And all you need to do is make this free call. Clean your yard up, get rid of an old car, and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now. Book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program now.
Welcome back to Networking Now. I'm your host, Jen Potter, and I am joined with Ingrid Perez. Before the break, we were talking about her niche in immigration law and how interesting it is that there is so many opportunities for entrepreneurships from around the globe to come and live the American dream and be able to do it in a way that they're able to start their business and do something that they really love. So welcome back, Ingrid. Thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me, Jen.
Absolutely. So we were talking about the fact that there are different types of visas that are available for entrepreneurs and saying that, there are certain types of businesses that are abroad that, they can take their business and they can come over here. We talked about water, we talked about infrastructure, we talked about, cable and accessibility. And I'm really interested to know what types of examples of successful businesses that have come over and have been able to create the business of their dreams here in the United States?
Yeah, I love this question because it just brings me back to the cases that I've done. So I can give you some examples. The first one that comes to mind is I worked on an EB-2 national interest waiver petition for an entrepreneur actually in real estate. Now, this was a tricky case because real estate, really, what is the benefit, right, of working in real estate? But he had a very niche business endeavor. And what he did is he had a portfolio of homes, and it was really a property management and rehabilitation business, but he invested in mobile homes in urban areas, and he rented these mobile homes to low-income families. And the argument there is that, hey, we have a housing crisis in the United States. It's something that you see on the news all the time, right? How home prices are going up, affordability is going up. So he worked on, his business was specifically geared towards renting affordable homes in bustling urban areas for single mothers, people who just came out of prison that need a home to resettle in and build their lives back up. And that was his endeavor, and he was approved. So that was a really fun one to work on. Another one that comes to mind was one that actually a very dear client of mine, he fabricates, he has this amazing food fabrication company in his native country, and he makes this delicious organic yucca flour. It's gluten-free, it's minimally processed, it's organic, and he wanted to bring his business here to the United States. And we argue that, the products that he's bringing is an alternative for people with celiac disease that have gluten intolerance, right? So you don't think of yucca flour when you're thinking of gluten intolerance, but you may now. It's an option that maybe you did not have before. And the argument there, obviously, we argue the importance of having options for people with gluten intolerance, and also how it would create culinary opportunities, right, for bakeries who want to use the yucca flour in their products. And things like that. So just, a little bit of the culinary arts innovation. And you wouldn't necessarily think of that, related to an entrepreneurial endeavor. But that is, what is the benefit of his product here in the United States, And obviously for an entrepreneurial endeavor like that, he would be creating a lot of jobs, a lot of economic movement in the United States. And his case was approved. And he gives me yucca flour and all his other products all the time. And I see them in the shelves of the local supermarkets, and it's really neat.
Well, that is amazing. And you said something that truly touched me. So I have a gluten allergy, and I am very familiar with yucca flour, and it's one of my favorite root vegetables actually to eat. Yeah. It dried. Oh my God, obsessed with yucca chips. So I love the fact that this is his business. And when we're off air, you're going to have to tell me a little bit about his business, because I'd also love to support it, because myself, I also bake for fun. I actually owned a pastry business in my past life. So I think that that's amazing. So as soon as you said this, I was like leaning in. I was like, ooh, I like this business already. I'm here to support it. But it's amazing, right? Because not everybody thinks of those things. People who don't have gluten intolerances, especially people in business, you don't have a gluten intolerance, you're not even going to think that a gluten-free bakery is something that's important. When I travel, all I do is think about where can I eat, right? Yeah. And so having options and having a specialty like that tastes really good and is a great option, I think that that's amazing. So I love that when it comes to, the different types of businesses and the creativity, especially the real estate business that you talked about, listening to the things that he is doing, I feel like it goes above and beyond just that real estate. So I was really intrigued when you started to tell that story. And so, you have these businesses that have these opportunities to do all of these amazing things. How do you, those are some of the successful stories. And I'm sure that there are some that aren't successful as well, because just like any business, there are things that, aren't successful. But what are different types of strategies that you can suggest to these people who are coming over to start businesses to set them up for success?
Yeah, I think that is such an important question. I think that before anybody that wants to come to the United States, buy a house, put their kids in school, things like that, figure out the immigration process first. Plan way ahead, because immigration is slow, it's bureaucratic, it's expensive, it's uncertain, right? So before you start settling roots and uprooting your entire family in your home country into the United States, make sure that you have set the foundation for their permanent stay here in the U.S. So I think number one is planning with an immigration attorney, is really important. Number two, start, to figure out where your business could thrive. Central Florida, for example, is a place that is booming right now, right? Prices are getting more expensive. So, it's important to know your demographics, study the market, do everything that you would do in your home country to make sure that your business is going to work, but do that in the United States. When you're a foreign national coming to the United States, you're learning an entire new set of rules, a new culture, a new way of doing business. So it's really important to become familiar with, your local market. Who is going to be your target demographic? Who are going to be your customers, your clients, your partners? That's all really important. And number three, I think it's really important to make sure that you work with professionals that can offer the right help to entrepreneurs. You're going to need an accountant, you're going to need an attorney, you're going to need insurance. All these things are really, really important to be set up for success. So I think it's just really important to plan ahead, be strategic with the decisions. It is going to be a very expensive, lengthy process, and you want to invest correctly in all aspects of the process.
And I think that's super important for all business owners. Like all the things that you touched upon, I think that they are so important to set yourself up for success. And if you don't understand what you need to do, obviously you have to seek counsel. I think it's so important, to find somebody who is able to guide you, such as yourself, especially in this realm. They need you to support them. But what I want to know is, how much harder is it for someone who is coming over here to start a business than someone who is already here? Because I'm sure, when I think about starting a business, I know how hard it is for me, but, what are the additional steps or the additional things that you have to jump through in order to obtain those visas and be able to have that successful business here in the United States?
Yeah, that's a really good question because, before you're able to really work in the United States, you have to have the appropriate permissions, right, through your visa. So there are other visa categories, like, for example, a B1, B2 visa, which is, a tourist visa or a business visa that allows you to come to the United States for a temporary amount of time to engage in business negotiations or business related activities. So you can come, figure out where you're going to set up shop, meet with attorneys, sign contracts, things like that. That specific visa allows you to do that. You cannot work on that visa, right? So it's very limited activities that you can do. There are a lot of people also who are in the United States studying, right? So I have a lot of people on student visas that are here taking some time off. Their businesses are abroad, running themselves. They're here in the United States and they see an opportunity and they're here with permission to stay as long as they're studying. So they start slowly setting up shop here, right? Figuring out where they're going to set up their business, start to engage with an immigration attorney, an accountant, things like that. So it's really important to be able to be in the United States with a visa and be aware of the limitations that whatever visa you're on has, right? Because non-immigrant visas, unless it's a specific work visa, does not give you authorization to work. So that's number one, really important. That's why, again, planning comes into play, because for you to be able to get the green card, you have to figure out another way to be here in the United States with permission. That's not going to be in violation of your status. So that's really important. And I think, it is so critical to engage with an attorney early on, because these cases take sometimes, a couple of months, maybe 2 or 3, 4 months to put together. If you're an entrepreneur, you're going to have to set up, your shop here, open your LLC, open a bank account, transfer your money from abroad, make the investments you need to have your business somewhat operational, right? And create your business plan, study the market, do your financial analysis, all of that. And then we're not even talking about how long it takes the government to decide these cases. Sometimes you can ask for faster processing, sometimes you can't. And even then, there's still delays that can occur. So that is all really important to know. It's more of a behind the scenes sort of look at how, a person can eventually reach that goal of having permanent residency. And there's so many pieces to that puzzle. It's really important to make sure that, you have a 30,000 foot view of everything.
And I think that that's really important. And as a business owner, listening to you say all those things, I'm like, oh my goodness, all of these things are so important. And I know how overwhelming it could be for me. Never mind someone who is coming over here who speaks a different language. English may not be their first language. And then they have all of these additional things that they have to do. So thank goodness you exist, and you're what you do, you love. So you want to hold their hand, you want to walk them through the process, and you want to see them successful. So if you could tell our audience, how they can get a hold of you, the best way to contact you, and who specifically you're looking for.
Yeah, so anybody who wants to contact me can go to my website, which is ibplaw.com. It's Ingrid B as in boy, P as in Peter, law.com, and all my contact information there. You can send me an email, send me a WhatsApp, give my office a call, and we can set up a consultation. And my ideal client is one that is sort of ready to pull the trigger, right? Somebody who is motivated, because what I say is that when you're doing these cases, you're not just hiring a lawyer and saying, okay, I'm going to forget about it. No, it is a partnership, right? We're going to be working together. It's a lot of work. So you have to be ready to invest the time that it takes to create a case that is quality, right? To help your attorney and listen to your attorney's advice to really create a case, a petition package that it has the best chances of approval. So, that's sort of the basics right there.
That was amazing. And these two segments went by so unbelievably fast. And I'm so happy that I had the opportunity to get to officially meet you and have you on the show today. And I look forward to our future shows with all of the additional things that you're working on and continuing to learn more and more about this. Because like I said, as a business owner and as a person who is always out there in the community, I'm sure I have plenty of people that I will be able to refer to you in the future. And what you're doing is amazing and impactful and continuing to make a difference in this country. So thank you so much for being with me today, and I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jen. You too.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Well, here's a great idea. Donate your car now to help local veterans in your area. Yes, just make one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program. Within a few days, we'll come and remove your car for free. You can donate any car in any condition. We'll use our vast network to sell it. The proceeds raised go to help local veterans and their families. And you get a tax deduction. And all you need to do is make this free call. Clean your yard up, get rid of an old car, and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now. Book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program now.
Welcome back. I'm Jen Potter. I'm the host of Networking Now, and I am joined with Jennifer Hobson, who is an entrepreneur who does all the things. She's a podcaster, a coach, a motivational speaker, and I have the pleasure of being friends with her. And we have had you on the show before, so welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Jen. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So I know all about you, so I would love for you to tell our guests a little bit about yourself and what you do.
For sure. It's, whenever someone asks me that, I always go and think about all the things that I have done. But right now, it's what I'm working on now. So for right now, I am the owner and CEO of Shine Up Coaching, which I'm really falling in love with this process. It's something that just started in January. And where I come from is actually a retail, both in-store and corporation background, as well as network marketing. And that's what brought me to where I am today. And one of my side projects is, yes, my podcasting, which is Happy, Healthy, and Skeptical. And all of these things, what I'm working on at the heart of it is to serve and support other people. And the three pillars that we work on with Shine Up is we start with health and wellness. Because last time you asked me what my favorite one was, and I always have to go to, it's not always what my favorite one is, but it's where I suggest you start. And that's always with your health and wellness, including your mindset.
I love that.
And then we go into, empowerment and mindset coaching, and as well as entrepreneur coaching. Because what I find with a lot of people is they're stuck working in that 9 to 5 kind of dredge, right? They work, work, work. But they know that there's something more for them, but they don't know how it would show up as an entrepreneur. And sometimes it's starting their own independent business. Maybe it's from home, maybe it's a brick and mortar, or maybe it's relying on a network marketing company to really start and see what they're capable of. So right now I'm delving really well into Shine Well, which is our premier program, which is a 90-day program for people. And I think that's really important because I always find that 90 days is a sweet spot for true transformation.
I really love that too. And, some people say, 30 days to create a habit, which is totally true, but 90 days to actually see progress. And I think that that's so important. And as a coach, we want to see our clients be successful and do successful things. And by, holding their hand for 90 full days, at the end of those 90 days that they're going to continue on this journey with or without you. And I think that that's so incredible. And so the Shine Well program, it's something that I've heard about, obviously, because we've talked, but could you tell us a little bit more of what that program entails and how you customize it for all of your clients?
Yes. Now we do it as group coaching, which I love because I truly think being around other people helps you be more successful, right? It gives you that community feeling. So it is group coaching. The way that it sets itself apart is it includes mindset. So you can do a traditional diet. You can do, traditional yo-yo dieting is what's happening. So it is at the heart of it a health and wellness program. But what we do is we support you with quick and easy tips throughout your day. The biggest thing that I find with people with what gets in their way is the eternal question, what's for dinner? I think so many people, and it seems so simple, but you see so many people and they might have extreme meal prep on social media, but if you can actually plan, I always believe that, fail to plan, plan to fail. You are setting yourself up for failure if you don't have a plan. But everyone knows they're not a professional chef, right? So they want that recipe, they want the accountability. But the two things that stick out to me with Shine Well are we have a journal. And the journal isn't just recording what you're eating and what you're drinking. That is a very, very tiny part of it. A lot of that daily journal, it includes gratitude because you can't be angry and grateful at the same time. You can't be negative and grateful at the same time. And not that it's toxic positivity, but it's training your brain to look for what's good in your day. And when you're training your brain to be more positive, that goes down the health line, right? Now you're reducing your cortisol. Well, your cortisol sits around your belly. Like all of these things are connected. So the journal is more of that step of connecting with your gratitude and changing the mindset. And then we also have community calls. And I think this is kind of like the special sauce in the program. When you have other people that may have similar or in the same group core challenges, and you can soundboard off of them, or you can see their progress, that it works, you're more likely to stick with it. When you have people around you, if you have a coach, I think it's really important to find the right coach for you. And my coaching style is, I'm not going to here to berate you. I'm not going to coddle you, but I'm also not going to be a bully. And I think that's what's super important. You need your biggest cheerleader. You need someone that already sees the vision for yourself, what your health and wellness journey will look like, what your empowerment will look like, and they build that vision for you, and then they hold your hand along it, reminding you you're capable and not coddling you, because I think that's important. I think in my journey where I've been successful is I've been pushed out of my comfort zone, but I've also been told that I'm capable of doing that.
And I think that that's important. And I really love that strategy. And we have a lot of similarities with some of our coaching styles, which I think that's why we are friends and why I really enjoy having conversations with you, because we have very similar mindsets. And, as you were kind of going along, I was like taking notes. I was like, oh, I really like that. And something that you said, right? You can't be negative and be grateful at the same time. And in my head, I'm like, can I be I'm like, and you know, and I was stopped for a second because I was like, wait a minute, like I know you're absolutely right. You know, about 12 years ago, I read the book, The Magic, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. But it is my favorite book in the entire world. And I always give it to people to read, or if it's someone who doesn't live close, I always send it to them. So now that I know that you don't have it, I'm going to send it to you. But The Magic is 30 days of gratitude, and it's changing your thought process with gratitude. So it's very similar to things that you're already doing. It's by Rhonda Burns, the person who wrote The Secret. And it's all about gratitude. And everything I do every day is what you just said. And again, another reason why we're friends is that daily gratitude. Stopping and saying, life may be really hard, but what am I grateful for? Because if you find a positive in every negative, it will always balance out. You may not be happy, you may not be sad, but you'll be even keeled. And so it's so important. And I think, you know, people use the word toxic positivity because I think it's projection. I think when people, you know, think that we're being too positive, it's because they can't be positive enough. And so I always struggle with toxic positivity because I'm like, I am seriously the happiest person you will ever meet. And then like I met you and I was like, I don't know, Jen's right there, right? Like, and we gravitate towards each other.
Well, what's funny, I have to interrupt you on that, is that's not how I've always been perceived.
Me neither.
And that was a journey. So if someone's sitting here listening to this going, well, I'm not a happy person, I'm not a bubbly person, things like that book, which I'm excited to read that now, you know, those are the things you have to do that work to be a happy person, because happy, it's not constant. Happiness, it's a fleeting moment. So you have to constantly work to create those happy feelings and those happy moments.
Absolutely. And nothing is ever constant, right? We're always in the flow of change. And you can be the happiest person in the world. And you better believe an hour ago when my 3-year-old was running around the house and I knew I was about to record, I was like, oh no. And I was like filled with all of this anger. And then I said, wait a minute. I need to think of all of the positive things. He's happy. He's healthy. We're here. I'm going to stop. I'm going to breathe. And all of the energy changed in the house. And so we have those moments. We're human, right? We're going to do that. But, you know, finding those moments of gratitude. And I think that's probably the best thing that you talk about in your coaching. And I think being able to help other people find their gratitude is going to be transformative right out the gate. Never mind all of those other things. I love the fact that you do group coaching, because anybody who knows me, I don't. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? I was telling someone the other day, I mean, knowing somebody who is just like me, and I know this about you already, I'm going to refer clients to you who want group coaching, because I love one-on-one. And I love that you have that passion for that, because to me, certain people need that group setting where I don't like it. And so I love that you do that. So that's amazing. And I love that you also said, I don't coddle, I push, but I'm going to hold your hand. And that's another thing that we have in common. I love that you're going to push somebody out of their comfort zone just enough, but be like, I got your back. And that's why I think you're so successful. I think that's why you're breaking through these barriers. You're doing amazing through your journey. So I love all that you do. And I would love for you to tell everybody how they can get a hold of you. This segment went by so fast. And, you know, anything else that you just want to say to just wrap everything up?
Yeah, I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. If you're an Instagrammer, you can find me at Shine Up Coaching. If you prefer email, you can go ahead and email me at jenniferhobsonvp at Gmail. And that's pretty much the easiest way that you can get in touch with me. I do have a website. They're actually sharing it with you right now, but it's jenniferhobson.podia.com. And I am excited because we are going to be launching another round of that 90-day Shine Well. And you know, this one, it's gonna be a really fun group, because you can already sense the personalities and how they're gonna mesh together. So if you're thinking, you know what, I need that right coach, then it's worth having a conversation. I always tell people we might not be the best fit, but we are someone's fit.
Yes, I said that to somebody yesterday. I go, if I am not your person, I will find you your person. And again, another thing that we have in common. And I love that about you. And I'm so grateful that I had you on the show today. And I look forward to our future conversation. So thank you so much. And I hope you have an amazing day.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
Are you ready to shake up the world of health with me? Welcome to Disruptive Health, where we are flipping the script on traditional wellness. I'm Dr. Denise Brown, and on this show, we are diving deep into the latest trends and breakthroughs in health and wellness. Whether you're curious about nutrition, exploring new therapies, or just want to live your best life, Disruptive Health is your guide. Don't miss Disruptive Health, coming soon to Now Media TV.
If you're on supplemental oxygen, heavy and awkward tanks can be a burden. Now you can leave home and leave the tanks behind with Inogen, portable oxygen therapy that moves with you.
With my Inogen, now I'm able to do the things that I've always loved. I just press the button here, and there's my oxygen.
Inogen systems are so small and light, you're free to leave the house without the hassles of an oxygen tank.
I could play golf again. I could go grocery shopping. I'm free again.
With the Inogen, I can handle my own oxygen. I can carry my own oxygen. I go anywhere with this. Look how small it is.
And right now, you can try an Inogen portable oxygen system for 30 days risk-free. Call us right now. If you qualify, we'll send you an Inogen system to use for 30 days risk-free. Your insurance may even cover your new Inogen system.
If you're on oxygen, you need to be using an Inogen.
Call 800-367-1753. That's 800-367-1753.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Jen Potter of Networking Now. For our last segment, we have Susan Drayton, who is a local artist and author, and also a good friend of mine. So thank you so much, Susan, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So I know all about you, and you are a wealth of knowledge. You do so many amazing things here in the community. Not only are you a super talented author, you also are an incredible artist and a Reiki master. And if you want to just tell our audience a little bit about who you are and what you do, and I would love to hear more about your books.
Well, I am an artist of many canvases, many mediums. I had this skill set as a young age and didn't really think much of it other than it came to me naturally when I was a child, and just continued with the art into adulthood. Decided to take it more serious and find a mentor that would assist me in honing in more of the skills and learning different mediums. And as she did, I then branched out into creating a book. I didn't even realize I was creating a book. I was actually escaping reality of having to make some really hard changes, didn't know the outcome, and worthiness was on its way. And I started with the illustrations, and then from there, the storyline. It got published 2014 of April 4th, and target audience is elementary level, but in actuality, it actually can target all ages. It's really embracing about authenticness and who you are, where you are. And Seth is the dragon, the main character of the book, and the fairies, along with Mother Gaia, is assisting Seth in moving forward and facing all the shadow sides and the uncertainties. And then as that got published by Mascot Books, it then went, I rolled right into creating The Beauty of Naya. And The Beauty of Naya is all about the mermaids and humanity, different cultures, and having to find gratitude and appreciation and saving Naya, which is the body of water that we all need, and how to come to that conclusion of gratitude and feeling the worthiness and collaboration of coming together. That is mostly for the young adults, I would say like high school level. But yeah, I am now working slowly on my third one that is called Surging from the Kingdom Within. And that's going to be different, more adult oriented, and focusing more on the transformation of self-worth and adversities, and how to overcome it at your own pace with your journey and who you are and where you are.
I really love that, and how there are all these different stories that kind of tie into each other, but they also gradually go from a younger mind to an older mind. And so, whether or not you did that intentionally, I think that's really great. And, listening to you talk on our last segment, we actually had another entrepreneur local. Like I said, Jen was on here, and one of the things that she focused on was gratitude. So, I love that organically that kind of came up in all of our segments about being grateful and having gratitude, because I feel like it's life changing, right? And I know that that's something that you really focus on, knowing you very well, and knowing, being my Reiki practitioner, when I'm feeling all of these things and all these emotions, that's something that you always kind of go back to. And that's something I really enjoy about you. But hearing you talk about your books, because I know about your books, but really understanding the story behind them, I think is really cool. And the mission of all of the different things that you do. So I think that's awesome. And like you said, you have different mediums of art. And so the book being one of them, or three of them, but kind of going into some of the other art that you create. I know I personally have some beautiful pieces of art that I'm going to be putting up in my own home that you have created for me. And you have this, you can kind of see it in her books, and you really have to look at all of her work. Go on her social media site, go and see her at SoCo Art Labs if you're local to Massachusetts, Rhode Island area, because her art is so unique. And I'm not just saying that to say this. You come up with these such incredible, intricate designs. And every time I look at it, it's like I see something different. And, it kind of showcases all of these different sides of you and all of the different things that you create, because your art is just there. It's so beautiful. And I've always adored that about you. And I love that you've intertwined that into your stories as well. So not only are you able to tell a story through your artwork, but you're also able to tell a story through your book with artwork attached to it. So knowing that you do all of this, doing this other stuff, such as, your paintings and stuff like that, tell us a little bit about what you're currently working on in, the painting realm.
In the painting realm. So now I paired up with another artist, Sasha, who is also an RN, and she's here at SoCo Art Labs here in Fall River. And she is taking on such a big task, and she wants to start an orphanage out in Uganda. So I decided, since I have my skills, my talents in the arts, and it's branching different ways too, and why not put it to good use? So Love Without Borders, Unity of Hope and Art. I have different paintings, and part of those proceeds of those sales will go towards the mission of opening up an orphanage in Uganda. To my understanding, the purchase of a land parcel is $1,000. And when she reaches whatever the goal is to purchase the amount of land that she needs, then she's going to build the necessary fundamentals that creates a safe haven for the children to prosper and grow and have a better future. As that's going on, I also took up 2 more adventures of the art, and it's branching. One into taking recycled furniture and upcycling them and adding a twist, a different look to it. And some of it could be done with just staining or resin. So it brings other artists here in Fall River to come together and express their talents and put it to good use. And also it helps with the environment. And we are connecting with interior decorators, anybody with B&Bs, hotels, that's my goal, as well as an office environment that you would like to have a beautiful piece that just adds a little something extra and special and comfy to who you are and a reflection to your own taste. And then I also am branching out into a clothing design, but this clothing is specifically to a sport. And it is for the e-skateboards, the electrical e-skateboards, and I'm designing clothing that are carrying the chargers that it needs for the skateboards. So I'm in the middle of just trying to come up with funds for that so it could be executed. And then obviously being promoted, and hopefully somebody will want to pick it up and fund me or what have you and take it from there. So those are my gifts, and my gifts is the skills of creating. And what I love about my skills is that I'm not just painting. One, it's healing me. And two, I'm giving back to the community with whatever they need. And through the sales of selling my artwork and hopefully benefiting people and what they do and how they do it with a little bit of style. And yeah, I enjoy that part of me.
And I love that. And knowing, knowing about all the adventures, like kind of on the back end that you do, and hearing you talk about them. And I know, I play a small part in being, giving you some of those things that you were able to upcycle. I was so excited knowing that they were going to be upcycled and being able to be used for something else, right? And with the other project that you're working on, like I obviously knew about that as well. So it's amazing because all of them, even though you're like me, right? Like I'm the person who has all of the businesses and I do all of these things, and people are like, wait a minute, it's not connected, but it is, right? And I see that within your vision of all of the different things that you do, and knowing all of the things that you do. And you did mention this, right? Like you talked about Sasha's project and a portion of your proceeds. This is not something new. This is something that Susan's always done. She's always paired up with nonprofits and local organizations and has given back to them through the sales of her artwork. And this is something that I've seen you do quite a lot. And I think that that's really amazing that you are able to do that and be able to give back to the community. So you're always giving back. You're always working in the community. I know you do. You also, like we talked about, you do Reiki sessions. You also do art classes as well by yourself, as well as with other artists. Knowing that you're part of the art lab, you do a lot of collaborations and work with other artists here in the community. And I think that collaboration thing is one of the most beautiful things, and watching it evolve, because obviously you know how much I adore the art lab and everyone who encompasses it, and the people who founded the art lab themselves. They're absolutely incredible. And I'm not just saying that because they're friends of mine, but they've created this amazing community. And through that community, I've really gotten to know you. And that has been such a beautiful thing. And watching you continue to grow and prosper in the community, I think is amazing, because your job's not over. You have a lot more things that you're going to be doing. And if you could tell everybody how they can get a hold of you, if they're looking to purchase art, if they're looking to come to the art lab, tell us all of the things.
Well, I definitely encourage coming to the art lab, which is at 145 Globe Street in Fall River. It's a yellow building called the Tuscan Building. And also you can go to my website, which is www.susandrayton.com. And I'm also on Instagram, which is Dragon and Fairies 555. And you can get my books directly through my website. The links are there.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And I have a little one here who wanted to say hi to you because he adores you as well. And he loves all of the things you do, right? Is that your friend Susan? Yeah. And could you thank her so much for being on our show today?
Thank you.
Thank you. So Susan, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much for being on Networking Now. I look forward to having you on again, and I hope you have an amazing day.
You too. Thank
you.
This has been a Now Media Networks feature presentation. All rights reserved.
Are you ready to shake up the world of health with me? Welcome to Disruptive Health, where we are flipping the script on traditional wellness. I'm Dr. Denise Brown, and on this show, we are diving deep into the latest trends and breakthroughs in health and wellness. Whether you're curious about nutrition, exploring new therapies, or just want to live your best life, Disruptive Health is your guide. Don't miss Disruptive Health, coming soon to Now Media TV.
Do you have diabetes? If you have insurance, you may qualify for a new continuous glucose monitor. With a CGM, you can continuously track your levels and trends, spend more time in range, significantly lower your A1C, and share important